Hello, I'm Caroline Campbell. I'm the first female director of the National Gallery of Ireland, and I'm thrilled to be talking to you on the occasion of International Women's Day. The National Gallery of Ireland was founded 170 years ago in 1854, and during that history we have been inspiring people with the great art collection on our walls, one of the greatest collections in Europe. The National Gallery has changed a lot over those 170 years. Last year we welcomed over 1 million visitors to our site in central Dublin. The National Gallery's mission hasn't changed, but what it shows has intensely in those 170 years. And one of the ways that it has is that it shows more women. They're not just on the walls, but they're the people who make the art increasingly on them. And I'd like to introduce you to some of those amazing female role models. The first extraordinary woman I want to introduce you to is Lavinia Fontana. She lived in the period we know as the Renaissance, 16th century Italy. She is the first professional woman to have operated a studio in all of Europe. And she was a brilliant artist. You can see here in her representation of the Queen of Sheba coming to see King Solomon, not just the skill of Lavinia's brush, but also this extraordinary female figure, Sheba, being involved in high-level diplomacy. I'm going to move you on a couple of centuries along to Raquel Reich, who worked in the 17th and 18th centuries in Europe, in particularly in the Netherlands. Raquel Reich came from a family of scientists. She was really interested and involved in some of the cutting-edge developments of her day in terms of imaging. She was also a brilliant painter who specialised in still lives, which was one of the most important genres for art at that moment. And here you see her wonderful still life with corn, painted when she was in her late 70s, a sign that creativity never ends. The third woman who I am really inspired by is Hannah Hoch. Hannah Hoch was German. She was a member of the Dada and Surrealist movements. She stayed in Berlin during the Nazi persecution. And here you can see her painting called Duft, or Fragrance. It's actually a self-portrait of Hannah, painted in Berlin in 1937, at a moment when she was not able to really paint, and certainly not exhibit publicly. She was one of the degenerate artists, and yet you see her here, surrounded in a great sense of optimism by an awful lot of flowers. I want to move to Ireland now, and an artist who continually inspires me, and that's Méini Jellett. Méini Jellett died in the late 1940s. She was one of the first people to bring modernism to Ireland. Together with her friend Evie Hone, she was vilified for bringing cubism and more abstract painting to our island. Today we recognise them both as among the greatest Irish artists of the 20th century. The last work I'm showing you is a painting that was made only last year. This is a portrait of the great Irish author Marion Keyes by Margaret Corcoran. And I love this work because there's a sense of partnership between sitter and painter. We see Marion in a very, very special, happy place, a yellow room, in beautiful clothing and with one of her books on her lap. There's a sense not just of engagement and peace, but of real harmony and interaction with the painter who's made this portrait. International Women's Day is a moment in the year when we think really very, very much about gender equality, of what has been achieved and also of what there is yet to come. I hope you've enjoyed hearing about some of the extraordinary women who are on the walls of the National Gallery. Raquel Reich, Hannah Hoch and Margaret Corcoran's portrait of Marion Keyes are all new additions to our collection. How we want this collection to evolve and grow to really fit the society we're in today and our aspirations for gender equality. And I encourage you all to come back to the National Gallery of Ireland to enjoy this and other works of art, to take part and participate in the stories about women and about equality that we tell. and hopefully to see some more of you here on our walls too in the future.